So, welcome to Unity of Flagstaff. How about it?
Yeah.
Gosh, I got so into it, I forgot I was going to. Oh, that's right, I'm speaking. We love having you here.
Oh, thank you. I love being here.
We love having you here. Okay, so one day, some friars decided to open up a flower shop. And so before long, their store was... Why are we moving the camera?
Because it's not aimed at you.
Oh, it's I can see me.
Oh,
thank you,
good.
though. So before long, their store started attracting lots and lots of business. I mean, who wouldn't want to buy flowers from a friar, you know, men of God, right? So the problem was the other little flower shops in this little town were going out of business. And they weren't very happy about it. So they pleaded with the friars to kind of back off or whatever that takes. Nope, we're doing what we're doing. So, with no other options that they could see, the other florists gathered together and they said, all right, so we're going to hire Hugh. Hugh is the meanest man in town. And so they pay him to storm into the friar's florist shop, and they threaten the friars, and they tell them to get out, and they tell them to stop selling flowers, and the friars are convinced. So they run, and they're terrified, and away they go, and they close their doors. So the moral of the story is this: Hugh can prevent florist fires. I could, you know what, I don't know where these things come from, but they drop in and I'm thinking, well, maybe I'm supposed to share them. Maybe I'm not. So, this or something better. Have you ever heard that phrase? We use that phrase in New Thought around Unity. This or something better. There's a gentleman, and he actually is part of the Unity Village. He's been around a long time. His name is Paul Hesselbeck, and he is a doctor of theology. And Paul Hesselbeck and I have a lot of things in common because we just about question everything that gets put in front of us. I was fortunate enough to meet Paul Hesselbeck at the Unity Convention this year. This little book that I'm holding is called Get Over It. This guy's talking my language. And what he does is he does truth triage on a lot of very familiar phrases that we use in New Thought. And I call them quips. And I'm really big on quips. You know, you guys hear me, I'm always going blip, you know, little quips out of my mouth. So this one, this or something better, was something that I heard myself saying frequently as a hospice chaplain and bereavement counselor. And I had to ask myself, when one of my dear family members of one of my patients looked at me and said, "What does that mean?" And I had to say, "I don't know." And so I started doing my work. And it just so happened that Dr. Paul Hesselbeck had an opinion about that phrase, which I was very excited to find. Paul Hesselbeck tells us this in this book. Now listen carefully, because I don't want to slip up when I say this. Don't suffer from a pain in the ask.
Oh.
Don't suffer from a pain in the ask. Paul Hesselbeck reminds us, which is based on every teaching that Charles Fillmore ever put out there. In awakened consciousness, we really don't ask God for anything. In awakened consciousness, we claim what is already ours. And true in consciousness. Now, Reverend Penni Honey added this tagline: because we know that God only wants the best for us. So it twisted my little world around a little bit. We know these principles. We know that you claim it. We know that we're told that you believe it and then you'll see it. We know those things. However, from time to time, I'm noticing that in my life, the things that I am claiming are not showing up. I claim that I am, I don't know what. I claim that I am an amazing, profound teacher. Now, some days that's true, and some days not so much. So how can I claim it in one moment and call it truth, and then in the next moment not experience it? This or something better speaks of a God that is holding out on us. And I get to move into that place of being a victim when I think this or something better, as if I have to wait to get to the better. As if it's around the corner somewhere, or it's at the end of the journey. Folks, how about this and something better? How about that? How about that we are, in fact, standing in the greatest expression in any given moment, and sometimes they're not pretty. In any given moment, we are standing in alignment with what God wants for us, but we may not be claiming it. This and something greater. I am standing in an expression of who I am in this moment. And I like to believe and hold on to the belief in my life that we are all doing the best that we can do in the moment that we're doing it. And something better. Because the universe is ever wanting to express through us. I'm not a rock star yet. Yet. This and something better. The word ask means this. To ask is to inquire about something. The word ask also means to invite. The word know means to have an understanding of, to be familiar with. What if I moved from a place that I am begging, and I am pleading, and I am asking, and I am asking, and I am asking, over and over from a consciousness as if it's not already available to me as a divine child of God? I just wonder how the universe responds to that. And then I realized I have all the evidence in the world. All I have to do is look at my life. You want to know how your ask is working out? Look at your life. You want to know how that pleading and that begging and that thinking that it's not already present and it's right here in the current consciousness of who you are, but you can't see it? Look at your life. When we move into knowing and we use ask as an invite for the good that is waiting for us, present to us right here, right now, and we invite it in rather than beg for it and act as if we've got to do something to go get it, and we come from a place of knowing. Am I the only one in the room that feels the difference in that? Maybe. To know that I live in alignment with all the good that is mine as a divine child of God. And the good news is that leaves nobody out. And the bad news is that leaves nobody out. Because there are people that I have come across that I wonder, how is it that they are so successful? How is it that they have so much influence? How is it that they are in the places of power and in the expressions that they are in? They're certainly not aligning with me. And like Byron Katie says, with you around, Penny, who needs God? How is it that that can occur? The good news is that the universe is ever conspiring to bring you to your highest expression. Now, we get it twisted around a little bit in this humanness that we do. But the universe is behind the divine thought, the divine ideas. You are present if you are willing to be in a place of knowing that it's already here. Now, what does it look like in your life right now? Something that you perceive as lacking. Got one? I've got one or two if you want to borrow one. Something that you perceive as lacking in your life. Now put on that thought. I know, and I claim this as a divine child of God. Now this is where it gets tricky. And I let it go. Because I don't have the capacity to necessarily see the absolute highest and best that the universe has for me. And I am committed to stop limiting the universe. I am committed to standing in the knowing that only the highest and best is coming to me and is mine, and get out of the way so that it can arrive. I put a geranium out in front of my mailbox, and I had a little note from my postman. And he said, "Nice flower, I can't get to your mailbox." He had all kinds of mail for me. I stood in my own way. There's nothing wrong with a geranium. What a fabulous contribution to the community, I'm thinking. But the mailman can't get to your mailbox. Where in your life did you put a geranium where you might have wanted to open some space? Where in your life did you fail or decide to not know that you are in alignment with your highest outcome? Step out of the way. Move the geranium, Penny. It was amazing. I got mail. It was a really cool deal. All people who have moved the world to better things have received their inspiration from the Spirit within and have always looked to it for instruction. God is not a person who has set creation in motion and gone away and let it run down like a clock. God is spirit, infinite mind, the immanent force and intelligence everywhere manifesting in nature. God is the silent voice that speaks into visibility all the life there is. Charles Fillmore tells us. President John F. Kennedy, the father, sometimes called the father of U.S. space exploration, in response to what was going on, because the Soviet Union was leading the race in rocket technology, he wanted to prove, John F. Kennedy wanted to prove, that the American people had the vision, had the ability, had the intelligence, that they could get in that race and they could win. And he doubted himself at every level. He questioned that. There are starving people in this country. There are so many places we can put those billions of dollars, he thought. But he did his research. He gathered his resources. He took in the information and he looked around and he said, "We deserve this. We are capable of handling this gift and this knowledge and this direction." And he said, "Let's do it." And it doesn't always turn out the way we think it's going to. He didn't get to see the success of NASA. However, NASA was successful. This and something greater. It changed the world when he did that. He asked knowing that we had that capacity, and nobody had proven we did have. And how about those miracles that Jesus performed? How about those? You know, I looked all through all the books I have, trying to find a place where it said that Jesus approached his friend Lazarus, who was dead. and said, man, I sure hope I got this in me to do this. Man, this or something better. He did not approach any of his miracles from that point of view. He approached those miracles from a place of knowing. He didn't beg for help or assistance to make those things happen. He claimed it as so. He said, this is the truth. This is who I came to be. And I know this is going to make a lot of people unhappy, but I'm going to do it anyway. He was in a place of knowing. Where in your life? What are you experiencing in your life right now? That you could gather your resources, that you could start to listen to your internal inspiration, that you could start to claim what is yours as a divine child of God, and peace and harmony and healing and ease would fall over your life. Now, for me, it's a nagging voice. It's not really that sweet voice of inspiration. I don't know what yours sounds like, but I encourage you to listen to it. This and something better, folks. I watched this community in less than 90 days create and manifest a new church home, a new permanent church home. How did we do that? We came in knowing there was nothing about that 24/7 group that didn't know that the right piece of real estate was there, that the right opportunity was going to show up. We came in knowing. I watched it in these meetings. I watched it in the involvement and the excitement in people. That is when we truly begin to manifest. That is when it becomes this and something greater. And we released to the universe after we looked at a spot and it wasn't the right one, and we said, something better. And it wasn't hidden from us. Nobody was hiding this location from us. God is not hiding from you and hoping that you will wait or hang on or endure so that you can get to your good. It's right here, right now. Claim it. Claim it now. Do it through silence. Do it through meditation. Do it through walking in the woods. Claim it. It's yours. Seek first the kingdom. And the kingdom as described by Charles Fillmore is this. It is the Christ consciousness and the realm of divine mind. Steep yourself in God reality. It's right here, right now. Claim it, knowing. Affirm this with me. God is the source of all. God is the source of all. I am an offspring of God.
I am an offspring of God.
And therefore I inherit good.
Therefore I inherit good.
Therefore I inherit good.
Therefore I inherit good.
We do. We are. You are a living magnet, constantly drawing to you the things, the people, the circumstances that are in accord with your thoughts. Tells us Eric Butterworth. What are you claiming, folks? What are you claiming? It's all yours. I want to win the lottery, and I haven't bought a ticket yet. I can't win. But what I can do is I can shift my consciousness into knowing that my financial future is secure, that God is my source. And then maybe I'll be inspired to buy a lottery ticket or not. I don't know about that. But this and something better. Go to the place of knowing. Don't get hung up on the ask. You don't have to get all the words right. You don't have to see it exactly as you want it. Come from a place of knowing. God's got you. Namaste.